While riding in North Carolina a week ago, I got to ride with a number of fellow mountain bikers, most of whom love to record their own content. Many had GoPro cameras, and everyone had their phones out at various spots during the adventures. One guy I especially remember is John. He was a cool cat from Texas who brought a camera mount that attached to the front of his helmet. This intrigued me because I've only ever ridden with the camera on top of my helmet until a year ago when I finally purchased a GoPro mount for my chest. I really thought the chest mount was the way to go until John told me that the chin mount is a game changer. So I bought one online, and it was waiting for me at home when I got back to California. This gave me an idea. How does the video vary when shooting from these 3 points: head, chin, and chest? Is one more stable than the other? Are there advantages I might be unaware of? I was in the perfect position to test all 3 against each other and post the results. I wanted my test to be as balanced as possible. I wanted to find a place where I could shoot with my GoPro from all 3 positions without any other variance in terrain, weather, or noise. I think I found a good answer near my house in the Los Gatos Hills. There's a trail that has a loop at the top, which is about 3/4 of a mile long and which has a bit of down, some up, and a few bumps. I'll be using all 3 systems with the exact same GoPro Hero 7 Black camera in Super View mode. Motion compensation will be turned off and I'll be shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second. Low light sensitivity will be deactivated. These aren't perfect scientific conditions, but they're pretty close and should do the trick. The chin mount. This thing connects to the front of a full-face helmet on the chin. This particular kit mounts with a 3M adhesive that people swear will stick to anything. Well, that wasn't my experience. I just couldn't get this thing to stick to my helmet even after wiping down the area with the provided alcohol wipe. It simply refused. But I got the thing to stay on using zip ties. Is there anything they can't do? I removed the side pieces since they were no longer necessary using the zip ties, and I ran with it. It's attached well and doesn't look like it'll move around much at all. The head mount. My helmet came with a built-in top mount for cameras. Pretty handy, except that the little lock nut fell off at some point, and I'll likely never see it again. So I used a backup mount that I had in my parts bin. It's attached at least as securely as the original mount was, if not more so. The chest mount. This one is probably the most straightforward. It goes on like a bra or a reverse backpack, and the camera mounts to the front. Pretty cut and dry if you ask me. Here's how I felt about the footage I saw. The chin mount has a lot going for it. It attaches easily. It suffers from less obstructions because its forward position removes a lot of handlebar creep from the footage. And it seems to soak up the bumps better than any of the other options. The head is naturally more stable than other parts of the body when riding a bike. Aside from the suspension absorbing bumps, my body was bobbing around a bit and it appears to have further added to the stability of the footage. There's more of a Steadicam effect going on here. I did feel a bit of a weight difference with this mounting location, and I felt like I had to ride with my helmet a bit tighter than usual in order to keep it held fast. Overall, I did not notice any additional strain on my neck from this mount. I did catch my hydration pack on it a couple of times when fetching new batteries. That was annoying. It is more exposed in a crash, and I could see where that might be a cause for concern since GoPro cameras are not that cheap. Also, I must wonder if there is an increased chance of neck injury that could be caused by this thing whacking a branch or a rock on the way down. The head mount is the most obvious place to put a camera. It's out of the way, and it's above everything else. You could easily forget it's even there. But it captures the visor of my helmet in the shot, and that's a deal killer for me. Having this large, curvy plastic thing at the bottom of the image is horribly distracting, and I can't stop looking at it. This mounting position is great for seeing the most. The camera's wide angle is not wasted up here. You can see a bit further ahead and it feels a little bit more like flying to me. Shock absorption seems to be okay, but it's not as good as the chin mount. I think the trail bumps traveling up through my spine directly to the top of my head makes this possibly the most shaky option, though that could be debated with the chest mount footage. The padding on the chest mount makes this option a bit more viable than I would have thought before I owned it. The harness is comfortable, and it seems not to move around too much while I'm riding. There is a bit of heat that's retained by this mounting option. It presses against my chest, and while it doesn't restrict breathing at all, it does feel warmer. This is a distraction for me, and I don't like it. This mount also places the camera between my chin and my arms, tucked inside the void that exists above my legs and top tube. That is probably the best spot to protect the camera should I crash, but it captures a lot of extraneous stuff like my arms and handlebars, some of my forks, and my bike computer. That can be distracting to some viewers. While I thought that the chest mount was probably the most comfortable, I think the chin mount generates the best footage, just from a quality standpoint. The lessening of my arms in the shot coupled with the added shock absorption make it an easy choice in my book, but your mileage may vary. The chest mount is a bit warmer, but it feels pretty good. And the top of the head is a great vantage point, but having the visor in the shot kills it for me as a viable option. It'll probably be a good option if I ever use a backwards camera, but that's a test for another day. I hope you liked my video. Thanks for watching. Feel free to hit subscribe below and tune in soon for more stuff. I really enjoy making these, and I hope you enjoy watching them.